Alright, boys and girls, this is another Everquest video. This one is about the starting towns for Classic. So I'm on the... Oh, welcome back to Blam Blam Truckers. This is Beas. I am sans Beas again. So, this is on... I'm on the P99 wiki. You go over here to Zones. Follow the magic cursor over here to Zones. You click on Zones. And you can do all the zones: Anatonica, Otis, Fadeware, Kunark, Velius. That's all that, and the plains. That's all that this particular website covers because it's for the P99 official fan run servers. So we're going to take a look at why when you're thinking about what character you're going to be playing, what race you're going to choose. One of the factors is, now that Origin is part of the game, now that it's a TLP, one of the factors is, where is your starting city? Where are you going to go back to when you use your AA after level 5 Origin? So every class gets it. So if you're a caster, it matters a lot less if you're a caster, because you can bind in one place and Origin to another, and you've always got a place to sell, and you can zip right back to where you were fighting at if you've bound nearby. So that's nice. Everyone else, all the melee classes and the hybrid classes and the bards, who don't really quite fit in any other category, so they get their own. All of them need to think about where they're going back to, because they're going to have a run based off of, they're going to have to run based off of where they're at. So there's a couple of factors here. There's is there good trade skilling? What cities have the best trade skills? And that's Freeport and Neriac. Payneal's not bad, but for sheer trade skilling, your best bet is near Freeport. I know that was quick. Kelethin is also a great... Kelethin and Caladim both have decent trade skills. Supplies, because you're really just talking about supplies. You can find a forge and a oven and whatever, a loom in every city. But if you want all the supplies you need to get through all the trade skills, the developers specifically over the years put them in Neriac and Freeport more than any other city. Again, Kelethin, Caladim, they both have a decent amount, especially smithing from Caladim. But if everything is in Freeport, and Freeport, they chose Freeport in particular because almost everyone is welcome in Freeport. Like the map for Freeport here isn't very good because it hasn't been updated. We would have to go to eqatlas.com, which we can do. Okay, that's weird. Huh. Let's try this. I don't want the .com. I just want to search for EQ Atlas. So EQ Atlas. Let's see if this works. And it works. It's being hosted by Alec Ablor. Nice. So, cities, Freeport. It's the top one. Wow, they've got the old maps too. There is no North Freeport anymore. It's just West Freeport and East Freeport. Interesting. Okay, so Freeport's been updated. Almost everything is in East Freeport nowadays. So we'll just use this website and jump back and forth. This is the map of... Wait, these are old maps. They're not as accurate. I know there is a... I can't remember the website I used for my nice map of Freeport. Oh well, I'll find it eventually. Doesn't really help you guys out. Anyway, East Freeport is where all the smithing supplies are. There's tons of smithing supplies in East Freeport. I could have sworn it was EQ Atlas I used. Weird. all the smithing supplies, all the pottery supplies, all the baking supplies. You can find everything you need in Freeport for the most part. So that answers that question. What zone? What? And almost everybody can get their faction up in Freeport just by killing orcs outside the city and turning in belts and doing a few quests. You can get your faction up. If you can't get your faction up, you can go back to Neriak and do base smithing there. If you're an Ixar, you've got excellent crafting stuff in Capitalist. You really do. It's not a bad city for it. On the other hand, somewhere like, I don't know, Eredin has almost no crafting supplies in it whatsoever. It's a lousy crafting city. It's got some very nice spells here in the central library, but it's not great for crafting supplies. But we'll go through this through the zone. I'm going to bring up the zone connection map. All right. Oops. All right. Click on this. So we'll go small. This is the map of the world for the first 2 expansions in the original game. This here, in case you don't know about it, this is the firepot room. And you're like, firepot room? Why does one room, if entire zones only get small little blocks, why does one little room get an entire figure size here, bigger than most of the zones are? Well, if we go big, you can see that in this firepot room, if you can get to it, and it's not that hard to get to, and if you can bind there, and only pure casters can bind outside of a city, so you can't be bound there if you're a melee class, you can actually teleport to every starting city in the game from the firepot room. It's in Timorous Deep in Velia, in Kunark. So if we go to Timorous Deep, yeah, the firepot room is there. So we're going to go back here to the zones, and we're going to go down to Kunark, and we're going to go to Outdoor Zones, and Timorous Deep starts with a T. Right here, 13, Combine, teleportation towers with underwater tunnel, 2 teleportation fire pots. Right there. And this is the firepot room. You have to run, so you take the translocator to wherever it goes, somewhere here on the map. I think it's one of these is one of the docks. I don't remember if it's the good dock or the evil dock. And there's another dock here somewhere. That's the good or the evil dock. And then you run down to here or swim. You're probably going to swim if you don't have levitate. If you have levitate, pitch your view up and run over there, throw on Spirit of Wolf or whatever, and then when you get here, search around. There is a water dragon around here, Fader or something like that. Make sure he's not around, and then dive straight down, and you swim into a tunnel. You swim through the top of a pyramid, like a wizard spire looking thing, and boom, you're in the firepot room. I wonder what this brings us to. Teleportation firepots. Ah, Kunark boat travel guide. And it even tells you how to get to the firepot room, which I just described for you. Beautiful place to bind. If once Kunark's out, great place to be. All right, we're going to back twice to here and go back to the zone connection map. So, and we're going to make this big. We're going to start with Otis and work that way because why not? So you've got Eredin and Payneal, which are right next to Tox Forest. Tox Forest is a great zone to be next to because you can teleport there. It's all right. Let's go over these this key here. Blue square is your firepot teleport. Okay, so you can teleport here. You can teleport to all the main cities except for Payneal. The shaman portal is if you get a shaman potion. It is a hexagon and it is brown. The yellow circle is the druid ring, and the red triangle is the wizard spire. So you'll see Tox Forest has both the druid portal and the wizard spire right next to it. It's a level 29 spell, I think, for both classes, right around there. It's one of the first ports you get for group ports and translocates. Um, it's really easy to get to Tox and just get a teleport because they can meet you there and teleport you. It's cake. Um, Again, Eridan, good city for spells. Not a great city for spells, but spells are all over the place. Every city has trainers for all the classes that start there. Payneal is slightly better for um, trading, crafting, but it's only really useful for Shadow Knights and Necromancers of the Erudite Persuasion because you need a key to get in there. Also, a great place to go and hunt guards, by the way. Very low level guards. They drop a bronze sword and a kite shield, and you make about 3 or 4 plat for every guard you kill, and they're only level 20-ish. In fact, most of them are in their low teens. So if you can get into Payneal, either by having enough faction to get a key, or which is easy to do once the Warrens drop, because killing almost any of the mobs in the Warren, any of the kobolds in there, will get you faction with the Payneal guards. You get up to dubious or indifferent or whatever it is. I don't think it's amiable, and you can get a key to Payneal, and then you can ruin your faction by killing guards and making a lot of money doing it. Because there's a decent number of guards, so you can just. I did it on my mage. You just zip through the zone and kill everything, all the guards, up until you get close to the Necromancer Guild, and then you walk back and kill them all again. And nice little farming place for making quick cash, especially if you have weightless bags. But that's the best use of Payneal. Eridan, nice little city. The library, again, has a lot of spells that you can't get not a lot, a few spells you can't get anywhere else. So you will be visiting Eridan if you are if you're a pure caster. There's probably spells there you need to pick up. But it is a short run from the top of Tox Forest, the north side of Tox Forest, into Eridan, over to the docks. You don't have to go to the palace. The palace is where the spellcaster guilds are, and you just run over to the docks. Then you translocate to Arid's Crossing, and translocate from there to South Quainos, and boom, you're in the next town, Quainos. You'll notice that there are no good teleports next to Quainos. One of the biggest problems I have with Quainos is it is hard to get to. There's a lot of great zones nearby, but Quainos itself is a pain to get to. Technically, by sheer amount of time traveled, Surefall Glade is the closest zone to Quainos. The next closest is Toxula Forest. Toxulia, I guess. I just call it Tox Forest. Because, again, the run from Tox Forest to Eridan is short. Eridan to Eridan Docks, incredibly short. Translocate, you're in Quainos. Well, you only translocate twice. You're in Quainos. Boom. The other way to do it as a wizard is West Karana, and if the wizard's smart, he will evacuate you, because as you can see here, this happens to be accurate. You are right over the zone line for the Wizard Spire here, and you want to be here, which is exactly where the evac spell will take you in West Karana. So if you're trying to get to North Quainos as a wizard, you take your West Karana teleport, so you go there, then you evac to the zone line, you cross the zone line, and you're in Quainos Hills right next to North Quainos. It's easy as pie to get to Quainos as a wizard. And now the city that is the farthest away from any normal teleports, Hallis. Yes, you can get there from the Firepot Room very quickly. And do they have good crafting supplies? Yeah, you can get up past 100 in most of the, not to 200, but past 100 in most crafting skills up in Hallis. It's not a bad place. It's a pretty nice city, but it's really a pain to get to. You got to run through Everfrost Peaks. Even the Shaman teleport only takes you to the south side of Everfrost Peaks. It's not ideal. So, and then you got to run through Blackburrow, which once you're about level 10, not a big deal getting through Blackborough because the dungeon goes all the way down. You can hunt down to 30 in there, but the top level of it, which you'd be running through, is like level 3 to 6 mobs. That's not the number of mobs, that's the levels of the mobs. It's cake getting through there. Eventually, if you're trying to get down to Quanos to meet up with your buddies and you started a barbarian, you got to get through Everfrost Peaks, and the mobs there are higher level than they are, or they can be higher level. Everfrost is actually a really good hunting place, but it's kind of not geared for low level players, despite it being a newbie zone, part of it being a newbie zone. And I'll tell you why. Because they don't have any level 1 mobs. There are very few level 1 mobs in the newbie zone. Most of the mobs are level 2, or most of the mobs are level 3. Some of them are 4, some of them are 5. Very once in a while you get a 2, but it is not easy. It is not a great newbie zone. Let's go back to Quanos for a minute. North Quanos has one of the best newbie zones in the game. The best newbie zone trying to get to level 4 is in Payneal. It just populates faster than any other newbie zone. There's only one better place, and it's not in Old World. It's in Kunark. So for Old World, Payneal's newbie zone is the best place to get to level 4. The mobs just repop faster. There's a ton of them in a small little area. That tiny little newbie zone that leads off to the Warrens and the Hole. It's just. I'll show you actually. We'll go to it. Payneal. So this is the city here, and can we make this bigger? Not by much. Yeah. So this here is the key to an elevator, and then you go down there, and then you get into, and if you're hunting guards in Payneal, you come down here, you kill the 2 guards here, there's a couple more, then there's a couple here, 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 go through here, kill these, go through this teleporter here, and you kill all the way over to about B. And then you go back, and you wait for them to respawn, and then you do it again. And you're going to make a lot of money off of level 19, 16 guards. Every one of them drops a couple of pieces of platinum, a bronze weapon, which is worth probably, I don't remember how much, and then a round of platinum, maybe 2 or 3, I don't remember, and then a kite shield. So if you've got weightless bags and you can carry all that, you can just go there, fill up your bags, and then go sell. It's pretty nice. So that's getting into the city. Once you leave the city, you come along here. Do not fall into the hole. If you fall off this, you go into the highest, the 4th highest level zone in Old World, the hole. You don't want to. Old Payneal is what it's its official name, but everybody calls it the hole. So you go through here, and you go off this way into the newbie zone. And we're going to go back and see if there's a map of the newbie zone. No, we got to go back another one. And here's the newbie zone. So you go through here, you come, again, off to Tox Forest, off to Toxulia Forest, and then boom. You go through this little tunnel here, and you have to duck through parts of it if you're an ogre. And you are now in the newbie zone. There are 2 guards here that will not aggro you or anyone else. They're pretty much the worst guards in the game for a newbie zone. But this whole area here is the best newbie zone in the game. There's just a ton of critters, and you can just kill them. They don't aggro each other like most newbie zones anymore, which is a nice change from live, and you just work through here and kill them all. It also is one of the best places to farm skeletons, because 6 skeletons spawn in this newbie zone, and as soon as you kill them, they spawn again immediately. You'll see bards sitting there playing their damage songs, which they're not supposed to sit there and just macro and play damage songs, at the 2 spawn spots, which are roughly here and here, and just collecting bone chips. It's a great place to, when bards are doing that and you're short on money, run up and loot all the skeletons and take all the rusty weapons, all the ones that they're leaving on the ground, because the bards don't want the rusty weapons, they just want the bone chips. So then you go sell the rusty weapons or break them down and use them for blacksmithing. Anyway, back to the zone connection map. So that's one of the best newbie. That is the best newbie zone in Old World. There's one better spot. That's in Kunark. We'll talk about that when we get to Cavalis. Payneal. So let's go back, and I'll show you why I like the Quanos newbie zone. And we're looking for the city of Quanos. So in North Quanos, which is here, they don't show the newbie zone, but it's not much more than here. This area here. So you go out the north gate, and there's only one gate to the city, and you just fight in this area here. It's not as good as Payneal, but it ain't bad. There's skeletons, there's gnolls, there's fire beetles, there's spiders for spiderling silk. Not a bad, nice little newbie zone, and it repopulates quickly, not as fast as Payneal, but quickly. Not as many mobs as Payneal, but not bad. And day one of the server, it's going to be super crowded, but you're going to be able to level up there quickly, even with it being super crowded. Quanos is also where there's a lot of good progression near Quanos, because you go from North Quanos, that newbie zone, you hit 4, you level up, and then you go directly into Quanos Hills. And at the bottom of Quanos Hills, which we can take a look at, outside maps, Quanos Hills with a Q. So the mobs tend to get higher in level the farther you go up. Or you can go straight to Blackburrow and hunt the top level of Blackburrow, which connecting zones, connecting adjacent zones, Blackburrow. This is a mess. So luckily they've split it up into 3 zones, into 3 maps here. So you come in from Quanos Hills, you hunt around this top area, do not fall in the pit, do not go downstairs to level 3. Just hunt around and don't fall down. This area in particular is slightly higher level, coming to Everfrost, which leads us. It's just a nice, easy way to level up from there. On Toxulia over on Otis, you would go from Tox Forest, which isn't a bad newbie zone, by the way. But you hit level 4, and then where's Tox Forest? So you hit level 4 in Payneal, and you can go to Payneal as an erudite. You can go to Payneal as anybody. The newbie zone, anyway. You can't get into the actual city without a key, but the newbie zone you can get right into as any class race. You won't be attacked by those 2 guards. So this area here, 9 and 10 and 8, are the Kobold camps. Kobold camps, well, 9 is technically the Wizard Spires, but there's kobolds running over it. Kobold camp. So, yeah. What's wrong up? Ah, he's a troll. He's a level 5 troll. And he has a quest. Anyway. This is a very fun. This is what, if Alakazam worked as well as the P99 website does, it would be amazing. But it doesn't. And that's why I use this over the Alakazam for my EverQuest, for my early EverQuest needs. Anyway, this whole area is great for level 5 to, say, 8 or so, 4 to 8. Then you can go to Kara Island over here and level up some more. Nobody hunts in Kara Island, so if you brought a group there, you would really be able to level up quite a bit. And as you're going to see, Kara Island is for levels 15 to 12, 25. Yeah. I've never really done much time. I haven't spent a lot of time in Kara Island because there's never anyone there to group with. But if you bring your own groups, it's amazing what you can do. Anyway, the progression here, if you want to hunt in a dungeon, you go to Blackburrow. When you're done with Blackburrow, you go to Split Paw, or over here to High Pass Hold and High Pass Keep. Or the Gorge of King's Orb leads to Runny Eye. You can go and hunt in Runny Eye. I say that like these aren't some of the biggest zones in the Old World. West Karana is the Karanas, well, West Karana and South Karana in particular are 2 of the largest zones in Old World. It takes a while to run through them. So even though Misty Thicket is, Rivervale is 1, 2, or even this way, 1, 2, 3 to East Karana, or 1, 2, 3, 4 to East Karana, 5, 6, 7, 8 zones away from North Quanos, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zones away from Freeport. It's much faster to get to Freeport, about half the time from if you're a halfling. But it's not that hard to get to North. It's actually easier to get to Quanos than it is to Freeport because Kithcore Forest is a death zone, and West Commonlands is not. If you're low level, it is not an easy place to be. And we'll talk about that when we get to Freeport. If you want to hunt outside, this is one of the best series of zones to do it in because again, there's a progression of levels. It goes West Karana, North Karana, then you've got some stuff in East Karana and then South Karana. And as you progress away from the city, the higher level the mobs get, generally. Generally. So, there's the north route across Antonica, and then Everfrost Peaks. I gotta take you to the zone map. I don't want to, but I have to because Everfrost is it's not that hard to get a it's not particularly hard. It's not easy, but it's not super easy like the route I used to level. But as you, again, it'll take you from 1 to 20 plus easy if you can get a group or if you can solo. Because this is the newbie area. Just this one thing down here is the newbie area. Then you have higher level mobs in this strip down here and in this area here, and then they get higher level as you go across the zone. So if you want to hunt outside and solo and enjoy your leveling, Everfrost isn't a bad place to be, honestly. It's a pretty nice zone. Okay, so there's the north route and the south route. So we'll stick with the good races for now and we'll do the north route. So you get through your Karanas. Again, notice where the teleports are. They're, around. All through the Karanas there's teleports. There's none in South Karana, but that's a whole other thing. So, running through the Gorge of King Zorb is actually pretty easy if you have a map up. And if you have Invis helps a lot. So where's the Gorge of Gorge of King Zorb? Or is it considered a dungeon? I don't see it. Oh, Beholder Maze. There's some of these zones have two names. So this is Eastern Karana. This is Running Eye Citadel. All you have to remember is hold to the left-hand wall. You come up here, you take your immediate left, you hold to that, the right-hand wall. You take your immediate right, you follow all the way down, boom, you're at Running Eye Citadel. How do you get through Running Eye Citadel? Well, let's see. Again, there's three maps because there's 3 levels. Four levels to this. 4 maps. I did not spend a lot of time in Running Eye. The trick here is to get to Misty Thicket from the Gorge of King Zorb. So in this one is the one you hold to the left. So you just hold here, hold left, boom, 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 turn, boom, 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 turn, and bam, you're in Misty Thicket. If you're in Viz, you're going to have no problems getting through either one of these zones. You're going to have no problems getting through Misty Thicket to Rivervale and we'll go back to the zone connection map once I bring this back to the main zone map. All right, so it's an easier run going this way, especially if you have Invis. You get through Misty Thicket, you get to Rivervale. From Rivervale, you get to Kithcore Forest. Kithcore Forest, let's bring it up. K for Kithcore. Kithcore, when the game first dropped, it was a newbie zone. And so running through Kithcore Forest was cake. There was nothing here that was higher than, say, level 8 or 10, 20 on the outside. It was just, you stuck to the path. You would actually follow the wall. One of the tricks to Everquest is you follow the wall and you're generally safe. Kithcore Forest, especially in Old World, Kithcore Forest is the exception to that. In Kith, you want to follow the path, especially at night. At night, there was a big event that had lasting ramifications. It's one of the few that had lasting ramifications. It was the most famous event until they woke the sleeper during Belius. So you just run straight here. You follow this path vaguely. You don't have to take every single turn, but you follow this path, and boom, you're in the Common Lands. and that's how you want to run it, because the at night, when you're running through the game at night, and I don't mean night for you, I mean night in the game. There was a big event, and Inarok showed up, and one of the evil gods, the god of hate. And now at night, level 40 mobs move through the zone. So most people, especially lower level people, will sit in Rivervale and wait, because a day lasts like 20 minutes or whatever it is. They'll just wait it out till it's nighttime, until it's daytime again, 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. or whatever it is. And you can check the game time by typing in /time, by the way. You pop through here, you run through the west over to West Commons. If it's daytime, it's a very easy run. If it's nighttime, it is incredibly difficult, and you're probably going to die, so bind in Rivervale. All right. Fun zone, actually. But, yeah. Rivervale is a good starting area. Misty Thicket is one of the best newbie zones in the game. It'll take you up to level 15, 16, I think. And again, it works. Oh, as you go away from the city, the mobs get higher level. There's a wall in the middle of the city that's protected by guards. It's the only newbie zone with guards in the middle of the zone to protect you, and guards near the entrance to the city itself. And so you can actually get a second base. It's basically a newbie zone and a higher level zone leading up to getting into Runny Eye. It's really great for halflings. It's a great newbie zone. It'll get you up to 10, 12, I think, maybe 15 on the outside. I haven't leveled up there in years, but the zone hasn't changed, so there you go. Now we're getting into the other human territory. So humans have two maps, have two cities, Quanos and Freeport. And you're going to see why Freeport is the hub of the entire old world. It just is. So you've got two teleports here in West Commons. This is usually when somebody says they need to get to Freeport, these are they mean, can I get a port to the Commons? And now in modern, East Commons and West Commons is one zone. So you get your teleport in, and West Common lands are higher level. Again, moving away from West Freeport, they get higher, the mobs get higher level. There's a nice low-level dungeon here called the Fallen. If you start in Freeport, you can actually get people to group with you in Freeport, which is easier to do when there's a lot of lower-level players, which you're talking the first couple of weeks of the TLP. You go from the excellent West Freeport. The West Freeport newbie zone is like the Quanos one, the North Quanos newbie zone. It's just nice. It's not the greatest in the game. I'm not ranting and raving about it, but it's nice. It's just nice. Just like there's plenty of mobs, there's guards nearby. It's easy to get to level 4, level 5. Level 5 is a little harder to do because there's not that many level 4 mobs to kill in either one of them. There are plenty of level 4 mobs. All the rats in Payneal are level 4. So that's kind of another reason why it's one of the best newbie zones around. So you start here in East Freeport. You go ahead and in West Freeport. You go to the West Freeport newbie zone, or you go to the Northern Desert of Roe. And there's a newbie area right near there. It's fine. It's not a bad newbie zone. Anyway, it's not a bad newbie zone. But if you come here to West Freeport, then you go into the Common Lands, and you start doing orc groups, or you go straight to Befallen. From Befallen, you would end up going, the next dungeon that's nearby is probably Najina, and then after that, you can probably go to Solis's IA, so that's Sol A and Sol B. You can probably go to Sol A, or you can run down here from Freeport and hit Upper Guk and Lower Guk. And that, once you're ready to get into Upper Guk, if you actually want to, you can do Upper Guk, Lower Guk, all the way to 50. Parts of it will slow down on you, but you can do that. Just like, again, Sol A and Sol B, you can grind through those all the way to 50 if you want to. And dungeons generally have better experience modifiers. So, and just like Split Paw, Blackburrow will take you into Split Paw, you'd have to go from there down to Guk or Sol B or the Hole over in Payneal. Those are your final dungeons. So that's part of Freeport. We'll cover the southern route when we cover the southern route. And we're going to get into some of the evil stuff now. So here's Nectalos Forest off of Neriak. Neriak, as you can see, has very close teleports to it. You can either, the Lava Storm port here is right at the zone line. And the Neriak foreign corridor, getting into Neriak's actually up here in the north part of Nectalos Forest. And this is coming off little, it's probably about here, right in that area, is the connecting zone line into Lava Storm. And then once you get into the zone line, you bear left, and the ring is right there. So it's a little bit of zoning, but it's not very hard to get to Neriak. The Spires is about midway down the zone, and you're running through a newbie area. Nectalos Forest is a great newbie area. Well, I don't like it as much as West Freeport for getting to level 4, but it's not a bad newbie area. The zone itself lets you get all the way up. Similar to Misty Thicket, it lets you get all the way up to level 10 on your own, 10 or 12. It's good for soloing. It's okay for grouping. There's a couple of orc camps. There's a couple of halfling camps. And yeah. Then once you're 10 or 12, you go up to Lava Storm Mountains, and you can level that up to about 15, 20. And then you get into Sol A, and Sol A will take you to about 30. And then you can get into Sol B. Sol B will take you to almost 50. Then you finish off in the hole in Classic to 50. And then once you have 50, you start raiding the planes with your buddies. So Plane of Sky, Plane of Hate, Fear, and Plane of Hate, which I don't see it here, but I'm probably just not seeing it. Anyway, let's talk about, and again, Neriag is a great city for crafting. It's a great city for guilds, lots of spells there. Yeah, and then the Temple of Solace Grow is up here as well, which has your level 30 quests for most of the classes. For your armor quest, most classes get a few quests around level 30 out of the Temple of Solace Grow. Not all of them. There's no shaman quest. Those are down in Lake Wraith, if I remember correctly. It's amazing how much of this I know just off the top of my head. So the southern route to get around Antonica is East Freeport, down to the northern desert of Roe, down to the Oasis of Mar, and Oasis of Mar has been incorporated into South Row on the modern TLP. Same amount of running steps, but one less zone to zone through. If you don't want to get into a dungeon, one of the greatest places to level from about 9 to 20 is the old Oasis of Mar coastline, because the crocodiles there and the caimans there do not aggro. So you can be fighting a caiman, and another caiman will just walk by and leave you alone unless you are using AoE spells. So you can just be fighting a caiman, and the other caiman walk by, and it's just the perfect zone for outdoor hunting, because it doesn't aggro. You can go there, you can solo easy. You don't have to run around. You can run around if you want to. And then down here there's orcs, and along this side of the wall there's orcs, and those are closer to 20. So you can, and there's usually groups there, because and not like formal groups, but you'll group with like 2, 3, maybe you'll get all the way up to 6 people just running and killing crocs, because that's what we do, is kill crocs, and it takes you from 9 to 20 very easily and very quickly. It's a high spawn rate. It's not the way I do it most of the time, but if you can't get a group in Unrest, that's generally where you go. Southern Desert of Roe, again, you've got a Wizard Spire and a ring. And now we're getting into the trolls and the ogres, who are kind of best friends and kind of best enemies. They're kind of frenemies. Because we're frenemies, we like disliking one another. Frenemies, you're like my least favorite brother. Alright. This is not a very long run, especially if you have Spirit of Wolf. Getting all the way down here to say Guck. If you're in Freeport, it's not that hard to get here. It's pretty quick. So, Inethul Swamp. Lousy newbie zone. Just absolutely lousy. It's one of the worst in the game. It's not the worst in the game, but I still think that's Hallis. It's so easy to get lost in Hallis. I'm sorry, Everfrost Peaks. Uh, Everything's white. It's hard to see. It's just bad up in Hallis. It's not a bad zone once you get out of the caverns, but those caverns are, you get turned around really easy. You got to bring your map up, figure out where you are. Anyway, Inethil Swamp is just a big square. Again, down by Grob, you have the lower level mobs, and the higher north, farther away from the city you get, the more mobs there are, the higher the mob level gets. But you can, between Inethil Swamp and the Furot, you can get the level 8-10 pretty easy. Or you can go up to the southern desert of Roe, and there's orc camps all along here, and then the orc camps then become derv camps, and that'll easily get you to 9 or 10 or 11. You can come over here and hunt crocodiles, and that'll get you to 20. And Upper Guk starts at 14, 15. You do not, if you are a good race that the Froglocks find you dubious, you do not want to hunt in Upper Guk, because eventually you're going to want to hunt in Lower Guk, and the undead side of Lower Guk, and we'll talk about that then. But I'm just telling you right now, if the Froglocks like you probably don't want to hunt here. It's going to make getting into Lower Guk a pain. And Lower Guk is the most popular dungeon for leveling from 30 to 45 or so. Okay, nice teleports. It's an easy run from Inethil Swamp to the Furot. Now we're in the Furot, which has the Temple of Khazak-Thul, which is another great little dungeon, right around 20 to 30, 20 to maybe 40, maybe. Probably 35 you'd be leaving there. Maybe later. There's some, the Avatar of Fear actually spawns there. He's the only place to get Rubicite armor at the beginning of the TLP, till Kunark drops. Then you got like 2 weeks to get it. Rubicite armor was the only item in Old World that had regen on it. So people would camp that particular spawn, and that's the main reason people go to Khazak-Thul, but it is a nice little leveling dungeon if you can get a group down there. Furot is, if it wasn't the ogres, if you bring any other starting character to the Furot, it is a lousy newbie zone. For one of the same reasons Hallis is bad, but Hallis also has the navigation problems the Furot does not. It's just a big square, it's a forest, it's easy to navigate, so it doesn't have that problem. But all the mobs are generally above level 1, and you have level 4 and 5 mobs that are running around in your newbie zone. And it turns out ogres are so very, very broken with their stats that they have no problem just crushing these higher level mobs for a newbie zone. So you'll actually be able to get to 6 to 8. You'll easily be able to get to level 6. You'll probably be able to get to higher than that. And one of the best places to farm spider silk is this corner of the Furot right here. The northeast corner of the Furot. There's tons of spiderlings. It is the best place in Old World, and it is the second best place between Old World and Kunark to hunt spiderling silk. Spider silk, the best place is in East Karana, but it's heavily farmed. Anyway, because everybody wants spiderling silk for crafting, and spider silk for crafting. This is not very heavily farmed. Spiderling silk is easy to get. There's spiderlings all over the world, but this is the highest concentration of them is right here until Kunark drops. Again, Temple of Khazak-Thul, nice little leveling dungeon. Some very interesting loot drops there. It'll take you from, I think the entrance can be done around 10 or 12, just like Upper Guk. So if I was actually trying to get people to group in this area, I would do Khazak-Thul and then Lower Guk, and skip Upper Guk. That's just me. Wraith Mountains. Wraith Mountains is most famous for Hill Giant Hill, which I will show you where that is on the map. Outside Wraith Mountains. It's here. This is also where you turn in the J-Boots quest. But 14 is the Orc camp. The hill is right here, and the hill giants just spawn like crazy. If you are running around on that hill you can get the hill giants to spawn because they share common spawns with everything up on that hill, except for 3 not named mobs, the grizzly bears and a couple other things. But the J-Boots guy, you want to kill the grizzly bears anywhere because they share a spawn with the J-Boots guy. So you help him you help him spawn more often by killing the grizzly bears. And there's some drakes, lower level drakes, and then you got the hill giants, which are around level 30. This is the cache place to hunt before Kunark drops. You can just kill those giants, and the more you kill the spiderlings and the what else is up there, everything but the orcs, the lizard men, everything on that hill, you just leave the orcs alone or kill them if you're bored. And as you kill them, they will spawn giants. It's a great place if you're level 40 or 50 as a soloing class to just, or even not a soloing class that can just keep going. I've seen warriors up there killing hill giants on their own. And the place will be permanently camped, but there's generally always, it's not, even when it's super camped, it's not that hard to get a few hill giants and just rake in the cache. Yeah, it's next to killing, it's better cache than anywhere in the game except for killing guards. And technically you make about the same amount if you're in a group in the hole and you get a couple of really good rolls, or the plains, I guess, and if you can work the auction house. But for sheer just plat, it's wonderful. And then there's camps nearby where you can sell stuff. So 15 here, is that 15? 16? What's 13? 13 is the inn. So if you can sell at the inn, you can sell there. 15 is the paladin camp. So if you're evil, you don't want to go over there, but if you're a good race, you can go over there and sell. And then 17, I believe, is a, no, 16. 16 is the gypsy camp. So you can run down here and sell. Almost everybody can sell to the gypsies if you can't sell to the paladins. But con them first, make sure they're not scowling at you ready to attack. There's a few other quests and stuff here. This isn't actually a bad zone to level in. It's got a decent range from 13 to 45, but everybody comes here for Hill Giant Hill. Okay, back to the zone connection map. This is the fastest way to get to Wraith Mountains. If you're going to go to Wraith Mountains, this is one of the, you can either take a Druid port to Soro or the Firot to get to Guk. Firot is technically faster because, I'll bring the map up. Firot. Don't tell me it's T. It is. The Firot. So if you look, 7 here is the Druid Ring. So you actually pop into the Druid Ring here. Your short run to Inethul Swamp. Inethul Swamp, if you look, the Firot is not quite, it's diagonally across. You go past the hand and you get to Upper Guk. It's the fastest way to get to Upper Guk. So everybody else goes to South Row, and it is actually the run from Southern Desert of Row to Upper Guk is about as long, because it's almost as long from the Druid Ring and everything. It's almost as long, is longer than the run from the Druid Ring and Firot to Upper Guk. You can also take Temple of Khazak-Thul to get there, which is the there's a wizard port right into the Temple of Khazak-Thul. Just dangerous because there's level 20 mobs right nearby. But if you're getting to Lower Guk, you're at least level 28, so that's kind of an annoyance at best. It's just safer to go to Southern Desert of Row on the spires to get to Upper Guk. Anyway, we're going through Lower Guk here. I mean, we're doing the rest of this. So Lake Wraith Tier, it's just from Wrath Mountains. You just run across the lake if you have Levitate, or swim across and run through some medium level knolls. And I think they're approaching 20. They're in their late teens. And then South Karana, you just run straight up. And there's a lot of mobs to kill in South Karana, and you can go to Split Paw Lair, and then boom, you're back to North Karana. And that's the southern route and the northern route of Antonica. And yeah, we're almost done, kids, believe it or not. Which is good, because I want to go to bed. Next, Freeport is the center of the old world. just is. So this is the path to Timorous Deep, is off of Oasis of Mar. Northern Desert of Ro is the path to Velius. It is the only path from Old World. Let's shrink this down. The only path from Old World to Velius, short of a teleport, is the raft in Northern Desert of Ro to the ice-clad ocean. It's the only way to get to Velius until you get the teleports. That's it. Just like Eredin is the only way to get to Quanos and vice versa. And Freeport is the only way to get to Butcher Block Mountains. And yeah, but we're going to go big again. Freeport also can get you to Butcher Block Mountain. And Fadewar is a great continent to level on. Now, the reason why is because clerics like fighting undead. And you're saying, what does that have to do with anything? Well, everybody wants clerics in their group. And clerics like to fight against the undead. Not all of them, but enough of them. And this one continent here, Fadewar, is all packed together very tightly, which is beautiful. So, Caladim is great. You've got the Butcher Block Mountains has a Druid Ring. Butcher Blocks is a fine newbie zone. It's not as easy to get up to level 4 as it is in Freeport, but if you want to go to Freeport, you just run the very short run from Caladim to the docks. And let's bring up Caladim, or Butcher Block. Doobie-doo, Butcher Block Mountains. Here we go. So this is the run from Butcher Block Mountains to the docks. You can actually run over this mountainous region here. So boom, that's it. You're at the docks. There are some level 14 goblins here you may want to avoid, but you can either run around and go into the port that way, or run around and go to the port that way. And there are a couple of guards that will kill them some of the time. Anyway, they're not that hard to avoid. But if you're having problems, just go around the wall and come in that way. It's cake. And then you take translocate to Ocean of Tears, translocate to East Freeport. Boom, you're in Freeport. It's cake. It takes a little practice, but it's once you've got you should have those skills if you played this game before. If not, you're going to learn them quick. This is not high-level tactics here. Looking back at Butcher Block, again, the farther away you get from Caladim, the higher level the mobs get. Butcher Block is 1 to 15 with a couple of 35 monsters roaming. They don't tend to stay alive very long. So this is your newbie area. This is slightly higher. The chessboard up here is a place people love to solo. And one of the ground spawns for, what do you call it? The Warrior Epic is up there. No, it's not. It's the chessboard in Timorous Deep, not the chessboard in Butcher Block. Anyway, doesn't matter. So there's different quests you can do in here. It's a nice little zone. It's easy travel. It's as complicated as this is. So this is where the Druid Ring is, down here at 20. So if you port in as a Druid and you're trying to get somewhere, or a Druid drops you off here, you just go east. So you go through this little pass here, and you go east to get to the Greater Fadark, G-Fay, or you go east and south, and you get into Dagner's Cauldron. And we'll show you why that's important once I talk about how great the rest of these newbie zones are. Greater Fadark is a giant newbie zone. You can get up to like 10 or 12 here, but there's no particular reason to, and it's not hard to do. Let's bring that map up. The Greater Fadark, I'm lost in G-Fay. There is a newbie zone with low-level mobs over here by Felwith. There is a newbie zone over here by the abandoned Druid Ring in Kelethin. There's 2 newbie zones in this newbie zone. Then you've got the bandit camp here at 3. That's like level 4 or 5. And up here you have the orc camps, which are level a little bit higher actually, but you can get there. You can go there at like 4 or 5, and you can probably get into a group and struggle to get through. Or you can just go to Crushbone, where there are level 4 or 5 mobs in there, and you get a higher experience bonus. And that starts us on... Actually, let me do the gnomes first. The gnomes live in Akanon. They have Now this is pretty neat. Um, if you are looking to get to Gfei and you're a druid, the faster route, if you zone relatively quickly, is actually through, I'm over here now, Steamfawn Mountains. Because you zone in here, you actually run up to, instead of going from Butcher Block, because Butcher Block is one of the bigger zones in Fadewar on this continent. So you just run straight north and you get to Lesser Fadark. And in Lesser Fadark, the run is from Steamfawn Mountains to Greater Fadark, and boom, you're in Gfei. I'm lost in Gfei. That was cake, wasn't it? Okay, this is how I level. This is how everybody levels, and it's quick, it's efficient, and if you're looking to get to 60 or 50, which is the old world level cap is 50, this is there's always going to be groups here. If you want to get there by grouping, there's always going to be groups here. There's always going to be named spawns here. Once you hit 50, you can go back and camp the stuff you wanted to get along the way. Or you can run around the world, but if you want to do the minimum amount of travel, this is the way you do it. Okay. When you get to level 5, 4 or 5, you go to Crushbone. You go to Crushbone until 12. You can leave at 11. I recommend 12. That's when most people get their bind spell. And you want the bind spell for the next part because you go from Gfei to Butcher Block Mountains. Oh boy, is this a run. It's not a bad run. It's the easiest run, honestly. So you go to Gfei to Butcher Block Mountains. So again, you're coming out of Gfei here and you're going to Dagnor's Cauldron. From Dagnor's Cauldron, you take this long zone connection tunnel, cavern, and you run around the zone here, or you jump in the water and swim across and chance running into an aqua goblin. Very low chance. And you go to the Estate of Unrest. Estate of Unrest starts you at about level 10 or 11. You can solo Yard Trash at 10 or 11. In the State of Unrest, you come over here to, and there's, how many maps are there? Okay, good. First thing you do is you come over to one of the walls, either the east wall, that's the west wall, either the east wall at the gazebo or the west wall. And you sit here and camp, just like you did in Crushbone. And I'm not going over everything in Crushbone because there's really only one camp in there's 1 to 2 camps in Crushbone. And there's everything else, and then there's outside CE, basically, the castle entrance. CE is a very common term. It's a relatively common term. It just means castle entrance. So we also call it the wall. The wall is the higher level camp in Crushbone, and it's right outside the castle entrance for Crushbone. And then you can go inside. There's technically the slaver camp and a couple other camps, but you're just going to run all the rest of that stuff until you can get into a wall group. The levels go by very quickly on a TLP. So you get over here to the gazebo. At the gazebo, you're going to be at level 10 or 11, well, probably 11 or 12. You'll run this to about 15. Then you go to the main room. So that is the main floor here, C, main room, MR. You go here, you get that. And once you can find a pick zone that, not pick nose, pick zone, you sit in the main room. You go from the main room to the floor 2. You're going to come up here over to this area right here and sit down. And this entire floor will be pulled by your group. So I'm not even kidding. This is called Fireplace. So you go from MR to FP, Fireplace. After Fireplace, you go to the basement. So all of floor 2 and floor 3 are pulled, and technically floor 4 can be pulled by the Fireplace. So this will get you to 15. This will get you to 20. Easy. This will get you to 25. From 25, and we're talking, you can do all this in a day if you want to, with good pulling, and not too many people camping the same spawn, so you're not fighting. And with the picks, you shouldn't have to fight too much to get a group here. And all of this is undead. That's one of the reasons why druids love it. Oh, not druids, why clerics love it, because almost everything in here is undead except for some of the beetles outside in the yard here. So Fireplace will get you to 25. At 25, you come down to the basement, which you need a key for. I don't know if you still need a key for, but you generally need a key for, which isn't hard to get. One of the mobs up here in underneath your floor 2 or floor 3 drops it. So you get to level 25, you come down to the basement. You take, now it starts here at B, not over here. You take this through this little winding way, you go down here, and you park right in this corner, right in that corner. That's where the camp is. Your puller will pull all the mobs leading to that door to you this way, and all the mobs that come over this way, and this is where all the sweet, sweet named mobs are for the basement. And that'll take you to 30. When you hit 30, now we're talking about the leveling path, so we're going back here. When you hit 30, you come down here to Lower Guk. Yay, Lower Guk. Let's get to that map. Dungeons of Antonica. Guk. Lower Guk. Wonderful. Now you may take a look at this map and say, that's a mess. You're right. Let's actually go to Upper Guk. So when you come in from Inethul Swamp, you come in here. And I'm going to show you this route, because you need to know. You come in, you go straight through here. Follow the cursor. You come across the ring. You come over to here. Go up, through here, up, you're going north. Through here, straight up. You walk down a ladder at point 8 here, the ladder down pit. That's what we call it, the ladder down pit. You go, that'll lead you, you're going down a level. So you can drop down, but the ladder's right there, you'll probably catch it anyway. You come over this way, down over to here, and then you drop onto this landing here. You walk north along this landing over to area 9. You go straight up here, over to there, and all the way up here to 7. What is 7? Zone line to Lower Guk. Let's go to Lower Guk. This is a huge zone, and you can do a lot of camping. And all through here, there's plenty of names in both Upper Guk and Lower Guk. Great place to level, honestly. I'm just showing you the route everybody takes. So you get to the live side. If you are killing things on the live side, and most everything in Upper Guk except for the mushroom men and the spiders, everything in Upper Guk, if you have good faction with them, you don't want to ruin that because you want to go to the undead side of Lower Guk. So, point C. What is point C? C is where you come in to front. There's a path I just showed you to get to from the... No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Okay. That's the path I showed you how to get to going through Upper Guk. And again, you need an invis if you're kill on sight to them. If you're not kill on sight, you can walk that path in Upper Guk, no problem. There are now, when you come into C, there's going to be live mobs up here. And they're fighting undead mobs till right about in this hallway right here, where the cursor is right now. So at that point, if you are good faction to those Upper Guk mobs, then guess what? You can just get IVU cast on you, invisibility to undead, and you come over here, you walk right past everything, and you jump into the water here. You swim over to here, this is where you go under the water, and then you come up here in the bedroom. This is the first camp of Upper Guk. You can get here at 28, most people wait till they're 30. You can also go to Mistmore for those love if you can't get a basement group in Unrest, but now that you're 30 or so, you are in the bedroom until you're, say, 35. That bedroom consists of this route here. Actually, you come in here, you pull everything from there, you come down and you pull all of this. Oops, yeah. All the way back to the bedroom. This is where the bats, this is where the spiders are. There's some spiders and bats here. The bats can see you if you have an IV, if you have invisibility to undead up, and so can the spiders that are here. So you need to hug this part of the wall if you have IVU up. If you're a rogue and you're using sneak hide, do whatever makes you unhappy. Nothing can see you in here. Maybe the bats, but I never got spotted by them when I was a rogue. Anyway, you come down here, and This right here is where you camp, is the next camp. This is the ASSUP room. It stands for Assassin Supplier. So you get, when you're camping Assassin Supplier, you get level 1 and part of level 2. Not a lot of level 2, but part of level 2. And then down in level 3 is the next, is potentially the next camp where the Cavalier is. People do camp it. I'm not saying they don't, but I have no problem pulling the whole area if I'm pulling. And the last character, my first main on Oakwind was a monk, and I pulled all of this and pissed off a couple of groups doing it. But they weren't pulling it. They were just sitting there waiting for the main spawn, and I'm like, keep the named. I want all your EXP mobs. And yeah. So this camp, level 3, is a camp by itself. Okay. So that's ASSUP and then Cavalier. And then you can drop down. So this is Assassin Supplier, and the Cavalier is down here. Okay. You can actually, I can't zoom in, but this is a drop-down area. So if you walk across this, you can actually fall over here, and you land at level, down here at level 3, basically. So D here matches up to D there. It's confusing until you run it a few times. It's hard to see it on the map. So you drop down here, and you come up. So the next camp is over here, and you park yourself right in this corner right here. Oh, for the Cavalier camp, you park here. You park yourself right in this corner or along this wall. Depends on how you're pulling. And you take 7 is the Frenzied room, and you take 11, which is the Ghoul Sentinel. So you're pulling all of these mobs and all of these mobs. And that's your pull. Then, once you hit about 40 or so, you come all the way over here, you go up here, and you go sit in this corner right here. I'm not kidding. That's the only safe area. So this corner right here is a safe area. This wall is not a safe area, but people sit there anyway. It's not a problem sitting in a non-safe area if once you break the spawn, once you break the camp. So everything's spawning and you're all ready to deal with it. This is called Ham Lord. Yeah, Ham Lord. So it's the undead hand, so that's the HA. The M is for the magus, and the undead ghoul lord, which is way up here. So you sit here, and the puller goes, and he checks back here. He goes and checks over here. He goes and pulls. This is the ghoul lord is 45. You can kill him, and his buddies are like 43, 44. Ghoul lord can, I think, spawn all the way up to 46, but we can check. 3. The ghoul lord. 47. I was wrong. He's 47. Killing him and his buddies, who are 1 level lower than him, 1 to 2 levels lower than him, that'll get you to 50. It's a slow grind, but it'll get you to 50. You want to get to 46, 47 before you leave Upperguk and go to the hole. But that's, you can go to the hole at like 43 and just hunt the entrance area. And if you got a group that wants to, it's slower experience though. There's less mobs. So you sit here and you hunt all of this. And if you're killing fast enough, you can hunt all the way down to here and meet up with the puller from, say, wave at the puller from the, what is this group called again? The Frenzied group. So Frenzy, Cavalier, ASSUP, Bedroom. Those are the camps of Lower Guk, and that will take you close to 50, and then you go grind in the hole. So let's go to the hole. And how do you get to the hole, which is all the way across the world? This is the hole. We were here. Now you can also choose to go to Soul B in Nagafin's Lair. That's another good dungeon. You can actually, there's plenty of places to hunt high-level mobs out if you want to solo them or take a group out in the world in outdoor zones. Well, there's a few places anyway. But yeah, Lower Guk is the most common path, which is what I'm showing you. Also, Permafrost is a good place to get into your 40s. from your 30s to 40s. Yeah, another big camping spot are the ice giants that spawn up there for cash, basically. So you get to the hole. How do you get there? You get a teleport. At that point, you just pay somebody to teleport you. But if not, you run the southern route and you get to the hole. And you bind in Eridan. You bind in Payneal. One of the nice things about this is you can actually bind in Payneal itself, even um, melee classes. And this is where you bind, right here at the entrance to the hole. There's usually melees just sitting around. Well, not melees. High-level characters. Now, not if Kunark's out, but in Old World, they'll just be high-level characters waiting here to team up and meet up and get the group together before they go into the hole. You can just ask in OOC/OOC, hey, can anybody bind me here, please? And they'll happily bind you. They'll group with you, give you the bind. Most people don't charge for binds. I usually tip a couple plat. And now you're in the hole. There's two ways, actually, to get to the hole. You can just jump down here into the super high level part of the map, or you can go in through this entrance. I'm going to show you this entrance. I'm going to show you those camps, and then we're going to be done with this video, which is taking a whole lot longer than I expected it to. Okay. This is the only way to get back to Payneal, and besides dying, of course. Dying is something you will do quite a bit of. This is the entrance. You sit here. So if you're putting a group together, you sit over here. It's a safe area. If you're actually fighting at the entrance, you sit here. Not castle entrance, that's somewhere else. This gives you all of these mobs, and that's it. It's not a lot, but these are the highest level mobs in the game outside of the plains in Old World. If you actually want to go to the ramp or the top of the castle, you come through here and you're fighting mobs the whole way, and you can park here, which is kind of a safe area. Kind of. There is a couple wanderers, but if you're able to get here, then you're able to kill those wanderers. There's a couple of mobs who spawn here, and then you go up in the ramp, and you can get these guys here at 15, which is entry observation tower. You go through this observation tower to the top of the castle, which is C, which is... I don't see it. Oh, castle middle, castle top. So you can park at the top of the castle in this corner or over here in this corner, and then you pull all the way to the bottom of the castle, which is from A to B, and A is... It'll lead you, this whole castle thing leads to castle entrance, which is here, this whole castle part here. That A right there matches up with that A right there. So you get two floors to yourself, and then you kind of share the ground floor with the castle entrance group. So the other way, the way most people go, is you go from here. For most people, castle entrance is sitting along this wall right here. Where is the next part? You come along, you go through this, you go through that tunnel system. Actually, those are stairs. You come down here, you walk past the lake. You're killing golems all along the way. And then you come here and sit outside this entrance. This is called Sword, because there's a little artificial pond with a Excalibur-style sword there. You sit right here, and your puller pulls all through this area. Not down here, but all through this castle area here. Okay, so that's Sword. The next one, you come down here, you go around, you come through this area right here, and so this part is actually above. Yeah, I had that last bit wrong. Sword just covers this area here going into E. This does not actually connect. It is above that. You can actually see out into this area here, but if you come all the way down to here and you go through here, you can park in this corner right here, I think. Yeah, that's right. So this is called the slab, because there's an inn over here called the Slab. There's a big sign. There's a little sign that's broken called the Slab. So you park right here and you're at the Slab. So from the Slab, the next camp, and that's this whole area here, and this area here is the Slab. So the Sword is this part here, and any of these camps from castle entrance on will get you to 50. They're just more and less. You tend to progress. The run from 40 to 50 takes almost as long as a run from 20 to 40. So it's a change of scenery. It's hard to get through here. Invisibility does not work in the hole. Most of those golems have see and vis. Most of the mobs in here have see and vis. So you actually run down here with your group, or you die and the rogue will, or someone will come and drag your corpse, and then the cleric will res you. So this is the Slab. If you follow this over and go through here and up, some people do camp right here. They're wrong. This is called the docks, because that's a dock right there. You want to park your butt right here. It is a safe zone. I know people who actually will bind themselves here, clerics and enchanters and stuff, because it is a safe zone. It is one of the safest spots in the zone. Nothing paths here. So you actually fight in this area right here, if you're smart, because that's a tiny little corner. So if you're fighting here, and there's a mob that spawns right here, if you're fighting up in this area, or even back a little bit, then it lets your casters be farther away from the fight, and one of the aspects of aggro is distance away from the target. So you camp here, and you actually fight in this area here. This is called, and you can pull everything here, because the Slab group is not going to be pulling from this area. So this is called docks. After docks, you go through here, and then down this way. And you have to fight the whole way through, down this way, around through. You have to fight through this entire corridor, all the way over, and through this little bit here, over to there. And this does not connect. So, oh no, you can skip that. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, you can skip this if you want to. I think. Oh, I'd have to see a little. Nope. No, you can't skip that. You have to come all the way down here and fight through this, because this part here is above the corridor that leads over here. This is one of the best maps too. How sad is that? So you have to go all the way around here, past jail for the Ranger Epic. You come in through here, and now you go through these tunnels. You take these tunnels all the way over, up and around, and you come out right about here. I'm sorry. I've got that wrong. I apologize. You come up through here, and you just come along this way, and you go down, and this one here is the Undead Tower. The camp for the Undead Tower is here at 5, which is, what is that? The East Graveyard. You are right outside the castle wall. You sit here, and you pull the entrance in the beginning of... Yeah, you sit right here, outside the wall. And... No, I'm wrong. This is the castle wall. Okay. Sorry, guys. It's been a year. You sit here, below 5. You sit here, and you have a chance of falling down into the hole. You don't have to go through this unless you fall down. If you fall down here, then you have to go through this tunnel system and come out here. If you are coming from the docks, you fight all the way down through here, all the way around, and you come out there. You will pass this cavern entrance, and boom, you see the castle with the tower with the undead. You come over to the side. This is the entrance into the tower. This little strip right here. So you come over here and you sit. It's pretty safe right there. I think there might be one spawn. I don't remember perfectly. And then the puller comes in and pulls this whole tower. Well, most of it. There's certain mobs you want to avoid because you can't kill them until you can kill them. Sometimes it takes more than one group. Some of these guys. They're some of the highest level mobs in the game. Again, this is the highest level zone outside of the plains. So you just sit here, and you will probably hit 50 over here at the docks. You probably won't actually do a undead tower group. Now, the faster way to get to the undead tower, see this 7 here? Master Yale is there. Yay! Well, this little pool here, this is a waterfall. You can actually see it from Payneal. Kind of. Maybe. This water here is where you land if you fall in from Payneal. So if we go back to Payneal, if you fall into the pit here, you land in this water pit. And there's mobs there. And they're all 49, 50, 48. So you're probably going to die if you fall. You won't die from the landing, though. So you come out here and you just fight your way over. And it's not that bad. It takes about 30 minutes. And you're getting experience and loot the whole time. You get over here to the... over here. And that's where you set up camp. That is the faster way to get to the undead tower. Yeah. That's it. That's it. That'll get you to 50. I'm not going to do the planes tonight. I can't really do that from memory anyway. Just fear. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. And boom, that's the path I take to get to level 50 in Old World. That's it, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Truckers, keep on trucking. I hope you enjoy all of these videos. It's a lot of experience here, believe it or not. So keep on trucking, you blam blam truckers.